Oh yes, the sounds of Evil Horde Hangmageddon. I do love that track so much. Seriously, go check it out. It's an OC remix track. It's all available for free download. It's from an album called The Dark Side of Phobos. Go and have a look at it right now. OC remix, I think it's either .org or .com. Just go Google it. That's what Google's for. You listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Right. We just covered the method kill and the drama surrounding it. So it means there's only one thing left to do this show.
Second wind!
Second win for next week, yes. It's the continuity we get between shows using a very silly gnomish sample. Many gnomes were harmed in its manufacture. Trust me on this. Fucking gnomes. Right, so. What's going on as regards to second win this week? The PTR. Is it a waste of space? Is it catching the major issues, but is it actually any good? That's the real question. I've always had certain issues with the PTR. And the reason is that it does seem to me that they're not only catching the major issues before the content goes live, but they're spoiling the damn stuff as well. Now, let me take you back in time to when we all started playing WoW. And was WoW not a wonderful area, wonderful world to explore? When we first entered our first raid dungeon, were we not awed? Even by the look of a molten giant, as generic as that, horrible as that place might be now. Were we not awed and wondered? When we first went and dealt with Nixia, did we not find it an awesome encounter, an amazing spectacle? When we first entered a new zone, did we not think, wow, this is different, this is cool? And where is that now? The problem with the PTR, if anything, is that under the guise of testing content, people are going there and effectively ruining it. We already have seen what happens at the end of Black Temple, and that is really disappointing. It really, really is. And it's not even a case of going to watch a movie for it. It's all over the place. It's like, you can say, well, you know, a kill movie, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but that's on the live realms. That's where anyone could have theoretically got there. This is even before it goes live. We've already got the ending of the Black Temple completely spoiled. You know what, I didn't want to see Illidan until I actually got in there, or at least someone got to him, and then everyone get really thrilled and excited by it. Because one guild has forged ahead and got there, and it's like, wow, here, look at what we got. If anything, that's bragging rights for a guild. Something that should be attainable for it. But in a PTR, of course, all of that stuff's already been seen. Mount Hayal bosses, already been seen. A lot of the Black Temple bosses, already been seen. We've seen all of this stuff. Even Tier 6 armor, pretty much spoiled before we even get to have a look at it in-game. We've already seen it in all its wonder and splendor and glorious silly wings. Now, for me, if anything, this is just my opinion, as is everything on this show. For me, that pretty much ruins a lot of it. It really does ruin some of the mystery of the game. Mystery is a very, very good thing indeed, and right now there isn't an awful lot of it in the game, and that is quite sad. The exploration of the Outlands, of course, was amazing. That was probably the best example of that mystery being re-injected into the game, and you would hope that content patches would be able to do that on some lesser degree. The problem is, if you do PTR hardcore like that, then a lot of the mystery is not going to be there. Now, of course, here's the reason for the PTR. Well, you get to test new content. To be fair, who is actually testing the content? Not a massive number of people. I've seen shots from the guild Impervious, who have been dealing with Mount Hayal bosses specifically, and they're having them death touch so they can go and test. That is pretty much like one guild who's doing that. Why even give it a public test role? Seriously, why is it even there? I actually do genuinely believe that it is for commercial reasons, for some degree. It's to show people, hey look, this is what we've got coming for you, please don't cancel your subscription. And that is valid to some degree, from a corporate standpoint in any way. But from a gameplay standpoint, that's actually pretty damn lame. Spoiling all of this cool content and seeing it before it gets out sucks. I hate it. I really do. It always seems to happen. People hacking the files to get the information, people going on hacked servers with the files, people going there on the PTR because they've even been death touched their way there, or they've hacked or exploited their way to a final boss to show people the pictures of it. And you can't avoid it. It's not like you can avoid a movie. You can avoid a movie. A movie will be clearly labelled. A movie will not necessarily be linked in a chat. You just can't do that. You're not going to download a movie without realising what it is. When you open a picture, that's it. The mystery is gone. When I open a picture of Illidan, I can see, right, the mystery of what Illidan looks like in World of Warcraft is completely and totally gone. And I'm not a lore buff. I'm not a lore geek. I don't care about the lore. But I do care about characters that I have seen in Warcraft 3 and Frozen Throne. Of course. You'd imagine that most people that play WoW have at least played a Warcraft game. Or at least know what it's all about. They certainly do now that they've played. And you can be the person in the world that cares least about lore, and you will still get a little bit of a kick when you see a character like that. It's when whenever we first see Arthas, whenever that might be, where people saw Magtheridon. All of these major characters that were in the game. Even Thrall. Let's go all the way back. When the first time that you saw Thrall, did you perhaps have a little shiver up your spine and said, yeah, that's cool. He looks like how I thought he would. He's got a big friggin' hammer. Then, yeah, that's Thrall. He's got a big friggin' hammer, a nice armor, and he speaks as you would expect Thrall to speak. And that is a very cool thing. It's the reason, if anything, why the Caverns of Time is so good. Specifically, the Durnhold Keep. Is it Durnhold Keep? I can't remember. Anyway, it's the Thrall mission. Old Hills, Brad. That is seriously cool. Why is that seriously cool? Should be blatantly obvious to people. You get to see characters. You get to see characters that were in the game. You get to fill in some of the pieces of the storyline for yourself, and you get to take part in it. And surely, if anything, World of Warcraft is about that. It's about taking part in the ongoing storyline of the game of Azeroth. Now, in my opinion, it is spoiled if that content is put out there too early. You want to go and experience it for yourself, and if you are fed this content, force-fed, if anything, by people in the community that do insist on going the PTRs and saying, well, here's this, then that kind of does spoil it to some degree. But then again, can you really blame them for doing that? If the facility is clearly available and Blizzard are saying, this is fine, you can go and have a look at this content. We are not stopping you from posting it anywhere. This is not like an alpha. We're not going to restrict people posting. Then can you really expect people not to post it? No, of course not. Absolutely not. That's not the community's fault. The community wants this kind of thing. At least some of the community do. The problem is that, of course, it then gets inflicted on everyone else, whether they want it or not. Which, yeah, is lousy in my opinion. I don't like it. It's not my thing. I really don't like this kind of thing being spoiled, specifically. Now, I would like you to email me for next week's show, of course. I would like to know what you think of the PTRs. Are they being used in the way that they should be? Are they being used to fix bugs? Do you know specifically of any major bugs that were found in a PTR that were fixed before it went live? How could they be done better? Should it simply be a private test run where certain high-end guilds are invited to go and play the content? But then again, what's the implication of that? Players have taken on this content in the PTR, therefore they're more than prepared to deal with it live, where world firsts really count. What's the implication there? Does the world first culture mean that PTR raid testing really shouldn't be happening at all? Or should it simply be a case of where all of the pretty much major guilds get access to it? Anyone that maybe has killed whatever, has got this far, gets access. I did see that recently, actually, that you had to have a certain level of access in order to get into, I think it was the Black Temple. You had to have attuned for something. More of that, please. If you truly want to make it a fair and level playing field, and you really want to use that PTR to test raid content, to make sure we don't have the problems we're having with Vash and all of these other encounters that we had beforehand right now, then that's what you do need to do. Restrict it to those players and let them do it. But if anything, I would have bound to a pact of secrecy. I don't want to see that content. I want to go in there myself. If it goes live and people want to see the content, fine. But to be honest, I don't want it spoiled. I don't want the present spoiling before I open it, effectively. I don't want to know what's inside that nice shiny box. Don't want to know. When it's Christmas, fine. But on the 26th of November, I do not want to know what's inside my Christmas present. And I don't care if that's a failed analogy, I'm going to do it anyway. Shout-out time, folks. You've got 3 minutes to send shout-outs to me at themoloch@gmail.com or PM me on IRC. All shout-outs to me right now, and I shall throw them out to you. Can I have a shout-out to me? That's Bladescope, 70 Ally Rogue, and the Venture Co. for finally getting friendly with Bloodsail Buccaneers, and to the belts that made it interesting for me. A shout out to Kiki because the stream keeps buffering. Yes, our connection sucks. This is a big shout out to Virgin Media. You blow ass. You really, really do. You are the worst ISP I have ever seen in my life. I'm supposed to be on a 10 meg connection. My broadband test when I ran it a couple of hours ago was showing me 500k. 500k. I could tie together a piece of string and 2 baked bean tins and I could get a better bloody ping than that. Shout out to Gimbal, Chaos Smurf and me for meeting in Emperor, that's Last Hero. Shout out to Zenith on Demon Soul. Shout out to Pardance, Xanthane and Knife. What the hell is that? Nymphoida or whatever. On Earthen Ring EU, a shout out to my dad from Cricken Zero who's listening right now for buying me Guitar Hero 2 for my birthday 2 days ago. I hate freeboarding expert. Well done, excellent, good choice there. This is an example to all parents out there. A shout out to Fitty on Troll Bain EU who hopefully listens to the show or else he may go die in a fire. That's from Dotted. A shout out to Kungan's 500k Revenge Crit, that's for Morphus. A shout out to Love Tank, God lord, that's a horrible name, to selling elite meta gems on Stonemore server, EU. A shout out to Dubran, the most mighty gnome on Sylvanus, that's from Corlick. A shout out to Crucifier, partying with Lincoln in Ongoro. Let's see what we've got in the email box. My email box always die every single time I do this. It's just horrible to behold. A shout out to the 5v5 team, Evil Unspoken, who are apparently number 3 on our server without even trying. Congratulations, that's from Jorgo. A shout out to all at Ogrimmar Fashion Show on Steam Weedle Cartel EU. They're having a fashion show. These evil RPers, evil. First time email, a long time listener here, and first time I can listen to Blue Please Live. Just want to shout out for my brother and his wife who had a lovely baby about 1 month ago, which I am going to meet on Friday. OMG ads. Also to the guild I am in, Moonglade, EU, Horde Side, Exiles on a great RP guild. Thanks for great ranting and debating. Love the show. That's from Cal Olson. What else we got? Let's see. Hey TB Kazi here. Can I have a big shout out to Ricklin the Druid from Mazrigo for being a first time listener and for being a good Dota buddy. I'd love to play Dota if my connection didn't suck. A shout out to Aro on Spirestone US who listens to Blue Please religiously every week. A shout out to Reclaimer whose epics are replaced by greens. Lol, you lost your life for nothing incarnated. Ugh. Yeah, no kidding. I'm done, folks. That is, by the looks of it, it. Oh, one last shout out from Sham. A shout out to Sil, wiping on chess event. Congratulations. Well done. You win at failure. I'm done. This has been Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Download the archives, wcradio.com. Check out our downloads. Coming up next, Octel and Hordak versus the World, our general gaming show of Win. Stay tuned, only here on WoW Radio. Thank you for listening. It's good night from me. Enjoy.